3 hours. That's how long one of these services took to upload a folder when I first tested it. Now, the same test today, 8 minutes. Open source cloud storage has been quietly getting pretty good, and I've ranked the 3 best services that don't require a single line of service setup or messing around with hard drives or network-attached storage devices. I've spent hundreds of hours testing cloud storage services. Now, speed tests, feature checks, privacy reviews. I'm going to use that data to explain what open source cloud storage actually is, and I'll rank the 3 best hosted options. So what does open source actually mean? Now, the software source code is publicly published. Anyone can read it. Security researchers can audit it. Independent experts can check whether the privacy claims match what the code actually does. Now, the most common form of open source cloud storage is self-hosted services like a Nextcloud or Cfile, where you install the software on your own hardware. Now, you are in full control. I mean, you have the hard drives, you have the NAS, right? You have the server, right? Everything is in your control and data never leaves a server you own. But setting it up, setting up is a real project. Sometimes you need to know Linux knowledge, a web server, SSL certificates, storage management, then security nightmares, ongoing patches. The list goes on and on and on. It has a lot of advantages, but it has a lot of maintenance too. If you want remote access from outside your home onto your NAS server, for example, you need to either trust the NAS's software to do this for you, or you have to know what reverse proxies are, how to configure your DNS. On top of that, self-hosting is rewarding if that's your thing, and we're going to probably make another video of this in the near future. So if you like that, give it a thumbs up and subscribe, because this is going to be a bigger video because, as I said, it's a bigger project. But in any case, it's a barrier for most people, and here we're going to break down more simple solutions. Now, there is a second type that almost nobody talks about, services where the code is still publicly published and auditable, but they host the infrastructure for you. So no server required, and we'll get to those in a moment. But first, why does being open source actually matter for a hosted cloud service? When a company keeps its code private, there's no way to verify their privacy claims. They can say essentially whatever they want, and you kind of got to take their word for it. Now, that's Google Drive, of course, that's Dropbox, and most of the mainstream options. Open source code, changes that. Security researchers can read it, they can test it, and also, which is great, they can flag problems. So if the implementation doesn't match the claims, it gets found. So Proton is a pretty good example, has had multiple independent security audits, and that scrutiny only happens when the source code is visible. Now, open source replaces essentially, trust us, upload your data, right? With, hey, you can check this for yourself. You can dig into the code if you wanted to. And you could even use AI these days to double check if the code is really what it promises to be. Here's essentially how I tested these services and how I'll rank them in this video. For speed, I ran upload and download tests on a standardized 5 GB file batch. That's my standard folder that I use for all the cloud storage services. Each test ran 3 times, twice on a throttled 100 megabit connection and once on a full gigabit connection. Now, the gigabit result shows whether the service can actually use faster speeds or whether it's hitting some side of hidden server-side cap, right? So I've checked sync options, I've checked sharing controls, mobile apps, you name it. I also ran stress tests to see how the interface held up under real pressure, under real use. And then I just cracked the hood open and looked at what encryption is in place, essentially, and whether it's actually zero knowledge. Now, that's exactly what we'll work through for each provider. And real quick, before we begin, if testing-based breakdowns like this are useful to you and a like really helps us keep making them, and even if you want to subscribe, that's even better. There's also a bell icon, so you will never miss another video here. All right. Starting with number 3 is Filen. The code is entirely open source. It's all on GitHub. They're based in Germany, so they got GDPR. And Filen has the broadest feature set of the 3 services. And I will cover that a little bit later today. The headline feature, and that's what I wanted to show you, is the virtual drive. And let me show you how that works. I open the Filen desktop app, like so, and I click the drive icon in the sidebar, and just got to hit enable, right? And now, if I head over to the File Explorer, my entire Filen storage shows up right here as a network drive. I just drag and drop files in, no browser required, and neither of the 2 other services I'm covering today can really do this. Now, there's also a built-in Notes app. It syncs across devices and runs inside the same encryption as your files, which means your notes are private in a way Apple Notes or Google Keep simply aren't, right? And since Filen cannot read them, I mean, it's all super encrypted and very secure if you want to keep your notes there. Now, the version history feature lets you roll back any file to a previous state, and that's pretty useful for accidental edits, but it also matters for ransomware recovery. So you can restore everything from before an attack happened. And on mobile, you can pin files for offline access and set up automatic photo backup to run in the background. Super convenient. Now, all of Filen's storage is zero-knowledge encrypted. Your files are encrypted on your device before they leave it. Obviously, as usual, there is a trade-off. If you lose your password, and you lose your files permanently. The company doesn't hold a backup of your key. There is no, oh, let's recover my password via email or something. It's zero knowledge. If you lose the pass, your files are gone. Okay, on the speed topic, Filen's uploads have essentially slowed down significantly since I last tested it. On the throttled 100 megabit connection, uploads average 24 minutes and 53 seconds. And on gigabit, 23 minutes and 42 seconds. The near identical times on both connections essentially tell the story here. Filen appears to have a server-side upload cap, somewhere around 2.5 megabytes per second. So downloads are a little bit of a different picture. We got 7 minutes and 2 seconds on a 100 megabit connection, and a very fast 1 minute and 48 on the gigabit connection. The interface wasn't fully reliable in my testing. I ran into errors during normal file operations across multiple sessions, and none of it blocked core functionality, but it felt like a product still being polished. Filen used to offer lifetime plans, popular option that helped fund the service early on, I think, but they phased them out at the end of 2025, so there are no lifetime plans as of today. Paid plans now start at under €2 a month for 200 gigabytes, which makes it one of the cheapest subscriptions actually in the space. And the free tier gives you 10 gigabytes, the most generous of the 3 services I'm covering today. Filen is also the pick if you want the deepest feature set, and you can live with a few rough upload speeds and I would say, less polished interface. Number 2, Internext. That service I mentioned at the start, the one that used to be barely usable, nearly unusable, this is it. And here's what changed. When I first tested Internext, it took between 49 minutes and nearly 3 hours to upload that same file batch. The reason was how it handled encryption. It was processing each file individually before uploading, and the speed never got above 3 megabytes per second. And Internext has since rebuilt how their uploads work. That per file bottleneck essentially is gone. So in my most recent test on the throttled 100 megabit connection, uploads averaged 8 minutes and 1 second, and downloads 9 minutes and 28 seconds. And on gigabit, uploads finished in 7:48 and downloads in 9:27. Like Filen, the near identical times on both connections suggest a server-side ceiling, though at a much more usable level, I would say. Turnarounds like that, in this industry, they do happen. They do happen a lot in this space. So if you want to know when they do, subscribe to the CloudWatch newsletter. The link is in the description box below. Internext's privacy architecture is the most advanced of the 3. The code is all on GitHub. They're based in Spain and, luckily, GDPR compliant, and they've taken encryption further than anyone else here. Alongside standard AES 256-bit, Internext uses Kyber 512. It is a post-quantum key encapsulation algorithm. So most people think like post-quantum encryption is something, oh, it's going to be in the future, right? 10 years, 15 years from now. But there's actually a more immediate problem that almost no one is really aware of. Adversaries are already harvesting encrypted data today with the intention of decrypting it once the hardware exists. So they're collecting all your data now, and then once quantum computers are sophisticated enough, they can crack everything and just gather all the information out of it. That's called harvest now, decrypt later. And we have an interview with the Internext founder here on the channel. So if you want to dig a little bit more into that, that's something I can highly recommend you watch. And I'll leave you the link here and down in the description box below. So with standard encryption, anything you've uploaded is essentially already at risk of this. And Internext is, as far as I know, the only service in this group that is really already building against it. So the interface, when you look at it, which is always part of my testing, is a little bit weak. I would say across multiple sessions, I ran into consistent friction. So sync indicators weren't always super accurate, and some actions needed like more than one attempt to really register in the application. It's like none of it really stops you from using the service, but overall, these little dots, I would say, they can add up and add to some frustration. Let's talk about the pricing. Internext is one of the last major cloud storage services still offering lifetime plans. There is 1 terabyte of permanent storage, which starts at 380 euros, and it's one payment. So you got no ongoing cost. So let's put this a little bit into perspective. The annual subscription for the same plan runs around 11 euros a month. So the lifetime plan pays for itself in just like 3 years. After that, I mean, you're basically saving money every year. The free tier gives you 1 gigabyte to test the service before committing. Not a lot, but yeah, I mean, you can really play around with it a little bit. If you want to pay once and own your storage permanently, Internext is a pretty good pick. The lifetime plan is also rare in this space, and it's the only service here with post-quantum encryption. Just go knowing that the interface will take maybe a little more patience than the others. And this brings me to number 1, which is Proton Drive. I mean, you've probably heard of Proton. I mean, got Proton Mail, Proton VPN. I mean, the whole privacy ecosystem. And Drive is the cloud storage piece of it. It's the one piece of the puzzle that was missing, but it now magically appeared. The code of that software is all on GitHub, and the service has had multiple independent security audits, which adds a lot of peace of mind if you don't want to review the code yourself, right? So in my most recent speed test, Proton Drive was the fastest by a significant margin. And on the throttled 100 megabit connection, it took 7 minutes and 15 seconds to upload and 7 minutes and 11 seconds to download. And as I always do, when I let loose the full gigabit connection, the upload finished in 3 minutes and 20 seconds, and the download in 3 minutes and 48 seconds. And that improvement tells you Proton Drive isn't really server capped the way Internext and Filen are. It can actually use the connection you're paying your hard-earned dollars for, right? So if you have a gigabit connection, you can really throw it at it and it will upload the files perfectly. And after spending time with Filen's errors and Internext's unreliable sync at times, Proton Drive felt, I would say, completely different. The sync ran quietly in the background. Oh. I never had to retry an action or clear an error across the entire test run. And in a space where like interface problems are almost the norm, that consistency really stood out, and it really gets a lot of stars here in this review. Now we got to look at Proton Docs and Proton Sheets, which are directly built into Drive, and let me show you. I open this document here in the browser, so there is no separate app that you need. And here, I can also click on Share and add a collaborator. And now, basically, we're both editing the same document like you were used to maybe from Google Docs. The changes appear live. It's the same with Sheets, right? Open, edit, Formulas and charts, I mean, it's all in the browser like Google Sheets. And I would overall say they're lighter than Google Docs and Sheets in specific ways. I mean, there are no macros, there is a limited template library, there are no third-party add-ons, there's no AI. So there might be some convenience factors missing for you, but for writing and maybe straightforward spreadsheets, I think they work pretty well. If you're looking for automated workflows or like complex data work with tens and tens of thousands of rows, I mean, they'll show limits, it'll be slow, but then you might be looking at Microsoft Excel anyway. And what they do that Google doesn't, everything you write is end-to-end encrypted. Proton can't read your comments and can't use them to train AI. And for sensitive work, at least for me, that truly matters. Drive runs under the same Proton account as Mail and VPN, so you're managing everything with one single login. On pricing, I mean, the Drive Plus plan runs around €4 a month for 200 gigabytes, the same storage as Filen's entry plan at roughly double the price. So that difference buys you faster speeds, a more reliable interface, and a service that's been essentially independently audited. And if you want the full Proton suite on top, I mean, you got Mail, VPN, Calendar alongside Drive, Proton Unlimited runs around €10 a month for 500 gigabytes. The free tier gives you 5 gigabytes, more than Internext 1 gigabyte, though less than Filen's 10 gigabyte. And I mean, speaking of prices, I've tracked down the best current deals for all 3 providers in this video, and you can find the links in the description box below. I keep those links updated, so you're always getting the best price available whenever you're watching this video with all the promos applied. Okay, let's get back to it. If you want my overall pick, it's, at least as of 2026, Proton Drive. It's the fastest, the most reliable, and it had basically its code independently audited. So let's break it down. On speed, Proton Drive is the clear winner. Give it a faster connection, and it actually uses it. Internext is solid and consistent, but you hit a ceiling pretty quickly, and Filen downloads fast, but the upload speeds are a genuine problem right now. On features, Filen has the widest range, Proton Drive has the most polished experience, and Internext is the most focused on privacy specifically. All 3 are zero knowledge by default, and Internext adds post-quantum encryption on top of that for maybe a little bit extra peace of mind when the future comes that quantum computers are a thing. On price, for storage only, Filen starts under €2 a month for 200 gigabytes, scaling up to 10 terabytes, and Proton Drive Plus runs around €4 a month for the same 200 gigabytes, and Internext annual plan runs around €11 a month. Worth noting, it bundles a VPN and antivirus alongside the storage, so it's not a pure storage comparison, but pay €380 once, and you've broken even in around 3 years. After that, nothing. Okay, for most people, Proton Drive is the one to get. It's the fastest, most reliable, and it's had its code independently audited. And if you want to pay once and own your storage permanently, go with Internext. The lifetime plan is generally pretty rare in the space. It's a pretty good deal. Just go in knowing the interface will take some patience more than others. And if features are your priority, I mean, virtual drive, WebDAV, version control, offline mobile, I mean, Filen is the most complete toolkit here. The upload speeds are a real trade-off though. But if most of your usage is downloading rather than uploading, that matters a little bit less. And if you do want full control of the server itself, I mean, obviously then Nextcloud is still the standard for like self-hosted open source cloud storage. I'll link our setup guide also in the description box below. We put a lot of testing hours into comparisons like this, and if it helped you decide, give it a like and subscribe. That keeps us help making them. See you in my next video. Bye-bye.